Welcome to this week's episode of That Sound Podcast. Today we are thrilled to have Colm Brennan from Amos Moses, all the way from Galway. How are you, sir?
Good to be here, man.
Unfortunately, we don't have Luke with us tonight. He has an internet problem, still reaping the destruction that Owen left. He's out of Wi-Fi, but we'll struggle on. We'll struggle on. So, man, tell us all about your band.
Well, for anyone that doesn't know, we are called Amos Moses. I'm in Amos Moses. My name's Colm. The band is called Amos Moses. We were formerly known as Old Times. We used to have a different lineup. It was originally a five-piece thing. We have on drums, we have Kai Ferry. On bass, we have Finn O'Callaghan. On guitar, we have Manuel Andrade. And we have myself, Colm. And we're currently under this four-piece formation we're referred to as Amos Moses. And that's based off, some people might be familiar with it or some people maybe not, but a song by Jerry Reed, who I guess you describe not to be putting people into genres or anything, but guess country rock, American folk, I don't know, bluegrass. Someone else would probably be able to guide you better on that. But there was a song by him that actually Manuel showed me first called Amos Moses, about this guy who lives in a swamp and wrestles alligators. And I got obsessed with the song, and I must have listened to the song every day on repeat for about a week.
Right.
And just learned the whole thing off. And I just was obsessed with the song. And I think then when we were looking for a new name, that kind of came up. As what we went through many different names, and so many names were taken and stuff like that. And then it just kind of stuck, for better or worse. So we are now Amos Moses. And I guess that's the brief story behind that.
And you've always been a musical, Colm.
Yeah, I started playing. I always definitely loved music, listening to it and that growing up. I don't know if you're old enough to remember, but like they used to have with the newspapers and that, they used to give like free CDs.
Yeah.
I remember, there was like one CD, it was like rock classics or something, and there was some Jimi Hendrix on there, Purple Haze, and there was the kind of old Fleetwood Mac with Peter Green,
Nice.
Black Magic Woman, like a live version of that.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing the guitar. And then another distinct memory would have been my dad had a tape of Dire Straits.
Oh,
And
nice.
hearing Sultans of Swing for the first time, and that guitar, I was like, what is that? That's mad.
Yeah.
And then kind of a lot of 80s pop was in there as well. That was just on some of the CDs, and I guess the age that my parents would be. And I just remember being like, obviously everyone likes music to some degree, but I just remember being really, really drawn to it and obsessed with it. And then my mum, I played like tin whistle at school, and I really didn't want to do that. So I thought it was an optional thing. And they're like, no, you have to play tin whistle. And I was like, fuck it, I'm not doing tin whistle. And then I got given out to by like the teachers and my parents and stuff. I was like, fuck, I better practice. And I got this little trophy for like most improved tin whistle player in the class. And then when I was around 10, my mum signed me up for drum lessons. And I was like, oh yeah, sure, drums is just hitting stuff, anyone can do that. It's easy. And I remember signing up, and I was like, oh no, this is actually way fucking harder than I thought. And but then got into that and kind of got my first beats together, and kind of then later on, then I started bands and stuff. And I was kind of in around fifth or sixth class. I had this band called The Deadly Disease, and we do a little. We did like a cover of "Don't Believe a Word" by Thin Lizzy for this competition. And I remember doing with that. And when I was in secondary school, then as well, I was in a band playing, and that would have been playing drums at the time.
Right.
And yeah, just I guess. It's important at that age, I guess, to kind of get somewhere with something, even if it's only a little bit. They're like, oh, if I kind of work and practice at this, so I do get better, and it actually gets really enjoyable.
Yeah.
And then at some point along the way, I switched to guitar, and then the rest is history. I suppose by the time I was around maybe 16, 17, I kind of realized, right, I don't like anything else. I'm not good at anything else now because I've invested so much time in this. It's just kind of going to be. This is what I'm going to be doing for better or worse for the rest of my life. And it could be anything, like be it performing or just learning or immersing myself in music or teaching or anything. I just know that music is going to be some way at the center of that, be it from whatever angle. But that was kind of it really. And ever since then, I've just been playing and largely I suppose, I'm into other kinds of music, but I guess largely what I'm into kind of falls under the the umbrella term of kind of rock music, be it,
Blues.
classic rock or something a bit more alternative or indie or something. But obviously I listen to lots of different types of music, but that'd probably be the biggest influence, I'd say.
Yeah.
Um,
I see on your drum kit as well. You have a nice image of Rory.
yeah,
Yeah, I did notice that. When I unfortunately I did miss you guys when I went to the High Fade show. We'll get into that in Dublin.
yeah,
But yeah, Rory, like you can definitely hear some Rory influence in your music. And I
for
know
sure.
you guys you've played up in Ballyshannon too, right?
Yeah, yeah, and that's been an amazing relationship, and like we owe so much to just the whole like Barry and everyone up there, just for the progression of the band and for just finding our crowd and our people, that's kind of like the spiritual home of the band, in
Yeah,
many.
and like it's that festival has been so special to so many people, including like Irish acts, but even like the Scratch would say, the video that went viral with the Scratch, and
Right.
like
I as well loves the Scratch Man. It's just one of his
yeah,
favorite bands, I think.
I caught them just before Christmas, and it was fucking crazy show, brilliant. But like even you might come across a blues artist from somewhere in America that you'd never heard of, and they just absolutely blow your mind clean open. But what I'm trying to get at is it's so special that you, including your own band, the talent is just unbelievable up there. Like it's phenomenal. The best of the best is up there, and the people are the best of the best. Everyone will give you a chance, not like some place where like, oh, blah, blah. Everyone's there for the music and everyone loves it, and everyone will give you respect and time and showcase your music. And I love that about it.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and I've heard that, that point or that general message affirmed from so many different people that, as yourself, as you know, that come from all over the world
Yeah.
and have been to many different festivals and been to, many different places, and they all say the same thing. Like, there's a friend of ours, Vincenzo's his name. He came up to it the last time when we were at Ballyshannon to help us out and do merch and all that kind of stuff, and just to fucking enjoy the festival. And
Yes.
man, like. That guy, he's from Argentina, like
Oh, yeah.
Manuel as well. But he was like, man, like this is one of the best festivals because just the music is at the center of it, the music and the people, and
Yeah.
there's so little red tape.
Yes.
Um,
It kind of runs itself, doesn't it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And just, I mean, like we went up, I was probably Kai's idea because Kai is from Dunfanaghy, as some of
Okay.
you may know. Um, and it was his idea, and he just said, "Look, let's go up." We had no affiliation with the festival, nothing official, and we just went up and we're like, "Look, let's just busk up there and see what happens."
Right, right.
And I remember we were very like, especially Kai was quite apprehensive in the nicest way possible. He's like, "Look, let's not fucking burn bridges with people up here. Like they didn't ask us to come up here, so let's just be respectful about like how we play and." Who knows? There could be someone else playing in the bar at the same time we're busking, and we're going to fuck them up.
Yeah.
So we got the list of the play times of everything, and we're like, right, let's just play when there's in the gaps between sets.
Yeah.
Hopefully things go okay. And not only did we not get, and we were just like, look, let's just hope we don't get fucking given out or whatever. But
Yes.
not only did that not happen, but they just they totally took us on. They were so nice to us. And I remember like Finn went in and was like, "Can we get access to the main stage to go see some of the shows?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, you're in that band. Yeah, yeah, sure. Here's a wristband." Gave us all wristbands.
Yeah.
Now I'm not telling people to just
Yes.
go up willy nilly and start cut, but you know, but that's the kind of vibe it is there.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I've heard that before, and like as we said, the Scratch, but even so many other people like yourselves again going busking and that, and the respect that you get, and it's as we said already, it's all about the music, and if you give a bit of love, you will get love back. Um, like
Tenfold.
I always say it, like I cannot like say it enough. Go to that festival because it is probably the best in Ireland. Apart, like I was chatting to a guy before from Germany somewhere. Was it Germany or like Switzerland or somewhere? And they've been coming for like 15 years straight,
Hmm.
every year. And I'm like, why? And they're like, because it's the best. And that's brilliant to fucking hear on our own island. Like Another thing, like when we're on the topic, like when me and Luke started this podcast, like the main thing that we wanted to showcase bands like yourself in our own country that can mix with the best in Europe. We have it here, you know, and to showcase it, be that busking, be that in a bar, or be, Pat McManus or someone else on a stage. Like there is so much talent in this country right now, and it's great that the love is shown and the love is given, and it's brilliant. Get up there to Ballyshannon and check it out this year because it's brilliant. Are you going up?
We'll be going up for sure. We're definitely going to be going up.
Yeah.
And Jesus, I'd be going up regardless now at this stage, you know.
Yes.
But yeah, but it's just one of them things, man. Like I'd only gone for the first time like a couple of years ago, and like
Yeah.
I'm a huge Rory Gallagher fan, and it was just one of those things. There was always something coming up, getting in the way, and it's just like, and I think the problem as well with stuff that's on your doorstep in our country, be
Yes.
it music or the sites or the
Yes.
scenery. It's this thing. It's there. Oh, I'll go and
I'll go again. I'll go.
today.
I'll go again. Even there's
Right
another
on the doorstep.
a very good blues festival in Monaghan in usually around October time. It's brilliant as well. You should check that out. It's very good. Some really.
What's the name of that?
It's called the. I think it's called the Harvest Festival. And it's definitely gotten bigger in the last year. There might have been. There was a main stage on the street, and then a lot of the bars were involved as well in Monaghan town. It's really good blues music, and you
Nice.
get a lot of. I did hear one thing I'll say. I seen is it, who was it? Well, Pat McManus is playing this year, and Jerry McAvoy is playing in Ballyshannon. But I heard from a good source that there's a surprise act in Ballyshannon this year. So,
Right. Yeah.
and I have an inkling who it is, but I'll tell you off here.
Please. Yeah. Yeah. My mind is wandering here now. Who could it be? But
Yeah.
yeah,
But right, so let's go then. Your music. I was listening to your latest single. It's bloody brilliant.
rock and roll.
Yeah, I love it.
Roll, yeah. Um. Yeah. Do you want? Will I talk? I suppose.
Yeah, tell us about where did where did you come up with the lyric? Was it who's behind lyrics? Is it just you, or is the band, or what way is the
So
writing happen? Or
yeah. So for that song, behind the lyrics there, that was Kai Ferry from he's our drummer from Dunfanaghy, Donegal.
is it well
Now,
spread out then, right? Don't
well,
you
yeah. Sorry, I
go?
should have mentioned that a bit more. So yeah, Kai on drums, Kai Ferry from Dunfanaghy in Donegal. Myself and Finn O'Callaghan on bass, and me on guitar and vocals. We're from Galway. And Manuel Andrade then on lead guitar is from Buenos Aires in Argentina.
Oh shit, right.
So yeah, we're properly spread out. And yeah, we just met on the streets of Galway. That's kind of how it happens because there's such a vibrant busking scene there, and it attracts people from all over the world. So it was
Spe-
only
yeah,
yeah,
speaking
it was
of
only fitting that there'd be such a spread or a diverse group of people, I suppose.
yeah, I seen your busking video in Galway with the was it with the High Fade gig on Shop Street? Was
That's
it,
that yeah, we busk with them all right, yeah.
that was
It's
fucking that was intense. That looked like some crack on Shop Street.
powerful. It's powerful. Now we got shut down in the end, but I mean
That's a
it was
good
quite
sign, man. That's a
it
good
was
sign.
quite it was quite loud because normally, you wouldn't be playing with a kit and all that kind of stuff that early in the day. But
Yeah.
we figured, look, we'll chance
Something.
it one time because the lads are in town.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
it looked like serious crack. But
yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
so you're all over Argentina, Donegal, Galway. Wow. And where did the Argentina connect come from? Was he just in Ireland, or was he living, working? Sorry, what's his name?
Yeah, yeah, Manuel.
Manuel.
Again, now, as I say, it's just me, so just take on board that we're at the mercy of my memory. So
Yes, yes.
this mightn't all be exact, but as far as I know from chatting with Manuel, and Manuel for anyone that is wondering, he's a mysterious man. He's a man of mystery, so he'll only ever say barely enough. He's kind of so there's a lot of mystery on it. But from what I understand, from what he told me, anyways, he was living in Norway for a while. That's where he first lived when he came from Argentina, and then he came to Ireland. I think it was a thing from what I've heard from a lot of people. He just looked it up. He was just seeing videos on YouTube, and he had kind of heard that Galway
For
is
music.
a good working spot, yeah, for music. And he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna go.
Cool.
And and he met Gabrielle. Gabrielle, what am I saying? Gabby Scrally, who was our old lead singer, and they
Right.
started playing together. And then I think Kai joined on then, and it was originally a three piece with the three of them. So we had Gabby, Manuel, and Kai.
Mm.
And I actually remember going to see them. They were doing there was a. Did you ever go? I imagine you've been in Galway
Oh yeah.
times. There was like a couple of years ago there. They still do it. Like they kind of close off the street in front of the Roisin Dove,
Yes.
and they were doing a gig as like a three piece, and they had another friend of ours, another busker, Kieran Neeson is his name. They had him on keys,
Right.
and a friend of mine, me and a friend of mine were watching that, and I didn't really know them that well. I just knew them as this crazy rock band from town, you know. And I was like, fuck, they're so cool. I'd love to be in the band, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember going up to Kai, who I didn't really know at the time. I only knew him as like the guy. He was in a band called the Street Club. You know, he was a bit of a famous head around town. And I was like, you know, geez, I'd love to play bass in your band, you know, because you don't have a bass player, like, would you? And and that would have been before COVID and stuff.
Right.
And then, you know, that happened. I was always kind of watching their shows. I was like, yeah, that's so cool. And I was actually in college at the time. I was studying to be a music teacher for secondary school. So I was doing my master's in NUI, and I moved in with some friends of mine. And then COVID happened, and we all played music in the house. And I
Mm.
think, I don't know, me and Kai crossed paths again, and we just became close friends. And the band had split up at that point,
Okay.
before COVID. And he was kind of talking about reforming the band, coming out of it, you know. And he asked me to join because we would have been jamming a little bit together during COVID. And I think it was coming out of COVID. And he's like, do you want to join this band and we get something going? And things kind of took off from there. Then in the current formation where we had, well, not the current formation, but the formation before that's where we had the five piece going.
Yeah.
And we had a sax player at that point. There was six people in the band at one point. And it was we had Noel who plays sax. He played in a band called the Street Club, the Galway Street Club.
Okay.
And yeah, and basically from there I've been playing with the band, and yeah, it's a bit of a hazy kind of description now of how things came to be,
No,
but
like that's like it obviously has morphed and developed, and the sound has changed. I take it slightly over the years as well, going from a six piece to a three piece to a four piece, you know, and
exactly.
that's all about the evolution of a band as well. And sometimes that can be healthy for a band, I think too. How you can always learn from them things,
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
know, and how it can move from different genres to maybe, you know, your rock and roll blues like he's are now. I'd imagine as the six piece it might have been a little bit different with saxophones and probably keys and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I think it's good for a band, and you know, everyone finds their feet, and certain people might go in different parts, might go solo or go, you know, to different things. But it sounds like the band has a lot of miles and has a lot of how should I say, has a lot of has learned a lot on the road and how it has developed. So like I think you're in a healthy place right now as a band, and that, you know, knowledge has grown, I think, for a band
yeah,
with them
for
stories.
sure, for sure, yeah. And I suppose I can only speak on my own kind of
Yeah.
understanding as well, but definitely for me, I've learned so much through this because yeah, I've been playing music for years, and I actually studied music. I studied in there was a program in Dublin, jazz contemporary music performance. It was
Oh,
formed in New Park. So I did that for 4 years, and that was so, you know, I was so entrenched in that, and that's so you know, honing the craft and the skill and the theory and all that. But my experience as a performer was like non-existent, really. So I
different
kind of
fish.
had all this music in me, and I had all this knowledge, but really, you know, my experience as a performer was completely lacking, you know. And I even look at old videos of me playing, you know, a couple of years ago, and I'm just kind of,
Stiff.
yeah, stiff and just like a robot, you know. And I look back and I'm like, man, Jesus, like I can't believe that was me, you know.
Well, you're not
Um,
now,
and yeah, yeah.
because I seen some videos of, we can get into the current tour there at the minute with High Fade and that. Like, actually, I suppose it is a compliment, but I remember when I first kind of watched some of your videos and I seen yourself, and I'm like, kind of has the swagger of the lead singer from Kings of Leon. I don't know if it was the hair and the beard and the guitar. I don't know what it was, but I was like, all right, these boys have a bit of swagger to them, bit of flair. bit of fucking cuteness, as we'd say in Ireland, about them, and you can back it up with your music. I have to say it's really cool stuff. So like going off that topic, then I know you have done a lot of tours over the years, and as we said, Rory, and there was other stuff in Europe, I think, as well, was there?
Yeah, we've done. We actually did our first Europe tour just the summer just gone. And again, going back, as I say this, it all goes back to Rory Gallagher and Donegal. Like so much of that Europe tour was connections we had made in Rory Gallagher because you know yourself, it attracts a crowd from all over the world. So
Yes.
um, again, it all just goes back to there really. Like the people there that we met and the contacts we were able to get, and there
Networking.
was people just be like, oh, you should come to the Netherlands, man. You should come to France. You should come to, you
Yes.
know. Um, so yeah, so we did. Yeah, we did. It was a small enough tour, but Jesus, like from where we started a couple of years ago. It was huge for us. So we did some dates in the Netherlands, France, Germany. Yeah, I think this is Netherlands, France, Germany. Yeah, and we're going back again in the summer. So we're going back to the Netherlands in the summer. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Um,
And how did the England and Ireland tour go with the boys from High Fade?
oh, that was amazing. That was amazing. And again, like what I'm saying, just learning so much.
Yeah.
But again, I think I mean, it's always coming up now the more I'm thinking about it. But obviously, Rory Gallagher Festival, so much to be grateful for there for getting the band forward, but also as well to the guys from High Fade because the leg up they gave us by doing this, and you could not meet a sounder bunch of lads. They
Yeah. Harry's a sound boy, isn't he?
yeah, 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 yeah. And so yeah, gotta fucking thank them for everything. Um,
Well, I have to thank you guys for. I only came across the boys from your video in Chap Street. So I was scrolling fucking on God knows what, Instagram or whatever, and I'm like, oh, this band with fucking Rory Gallagher on a kick drum. Like, okay. So I'm looking, and then it kind of rolled into High Fade. And then I ended up looking at some of the High Fade stuff, and I'm like, oh, these boys are coming to Dublin. And Amos Moses are coming to Dublin. I'm like, all right. I was straight on it, straight away. I'm like, okay, I'm going to Dublin tomorrow night. And I was straight up, I swear to God. And it was because of that video on Shop Street.
that's gas.
Yeah,
That's
that's the truth. That's the gospel truth, man. And as I say, unfortunately, I'm living in Cavan here, so I'm about an hour and 10 or 15, depending on traffic, into the city. And just by the time I got in, you guys were just finished, and I was sick. But I did catch the boys at the end, and I think I might have bumped into one of you guys when you were clearing up at the end of the night, but we didn't get chatting, unfortunately. But yeah,
we're done now, so that's the main thing.
yes, and again, I got in even into more of your singles and stuff. And going off that topic, then after a great tour with High Fade and networking, as we say, across Europe, and potentially stuff coming up over this summer with gigs, and um, are we going to see new music?
I think you will. I think you will. I was just having a chat with the manager there before, just about what to say and what not to say. But yeah, no, we're going to have some new releases coming out very soon.
Cool.
Possibly an EP as well this year. But definitely new music will be coming out. And I think for some of the people that have been following us now, some of those songs as well are songs that they've been listening to and kind of asking us, hey, where can we find this particular tune? So that might be a bit of a hint for some people. Um, but yeah, so we're going to be releasing new music very soon.
Cool.
There'll be more of that as well. We'll be kind of discussing that around the time that we're going to be announcing the tour and all that. I'm assuming this is probably going to go out, a little bit later than that. But
Yeah, be maybe a couple of weeks from right now, so you can take the gamble
yeah,
if you
that
want.
that could be perfect. That could be perfect timing.
Yes,
Yeah, no, there'll be new music coming out and the new tour as well, which will be starting St. Patrick's Day, and that's the 17th of March as well, if anyone's wondering.
yes,
Uh, but yeah, starting, and then we kind of do that normally. I know it's kind of been a bit of a tradition. We kind of kick things off with a show in Galway around St. Patrick's Day, and then we do some dates around Ireland, then into the UK and on into Europe and stuff, and then Rory Gallagher in June and
cool,
all that. So yeah, stay tuned to that, and there will be a possible support tour coming up as well with someone else.
cool.
But we'll
Stay
we'll
tuned.
keep you'll hear about that, and it was closer to the time. But the main thing, yeah, if you just follow the Instagram, like
What is the sound going to be moving, or is it kind of the same rock and roll kind of blues kind of a feel to it, or is there a new twist coming? Or
well, this is the joys, I suppose, the pros and cons of the collaborative process in music. There's always, I think, I think it's kind of, well, I suppose it can take many forms, but a lot of times as well, there can be a bit of friction in terms of the vision that people want, and people have different styles and that. I think Manuel is the rock and roll core of the group, and he is this kind of unwavering, just zero doubt in his mind about what the sound needs to be.
yeah,
And for me, like as I said, like I've grown up listening to Rory Gallagher, and I love rock and roll and blues and all that kind of stuff. There's other elements in there as well, and Finn brings his own musical influences as well. And of course Kai as well, who loves folk music and lots of other kinds of music. So there's always that kind of mixing and sometimes a bit of friction. But I kind of tend to think sometimes it can get volatile where it puts a lot of stress on the group, but other times it is kind of essential to have.
yeah. You need a few different, you know,
Yeah.
different aspects of it. But then also the beauty of going into a studio, and then magic can happen. You could go in with one small piece, and then it could just morph into something that you didn't expect it to, and it could be brilliant.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of recording. So yeah, so where can people find you then? On
Um,
Instagram.
yeah, the main thing I know is Amos Moses. I should have the card here. Uh, Amos Moses music. You get us on Instagram. Um, and we have a YouTube account, but I suppose like yourselves, the main place really is Instagram. That's
Yeah.
been Kai's baby from the start, and he's grown that from the
Cool.
ground up. And that's just what's been working for us. So I'd always direct people in that. Obviously, we have all our other platforms as well, but where it's all happening is on the Instagram.
Cool.
So
Cool.
Moses Music, and our stuff is up on Spotify.
Yes.
And we're still in the early stages of our Spotify and growing our songs, because so much of what we've done for the last couple of years, growing the band, has been very kind of grassroots, organic, from the ground up, going from town to town, busking, going to towns that no one's ever heard of us before. Like that first UK tour we did, we were going into places where no one knew who we were.
Yeah.
Sure, in Ireland didn't know who we were. Um, Outside of Galway, in a lot of places. And yeah, well, like for example, like we went to Manchester and played in a place called Gulliver's, about 300 capacity, and we went in there a few days before. No one knew who we were, and we managed to sell out the venue just through being on the street, plugging the gig, just do a small set, just play, hey guys, we were called Old Times at the time, hey, we're Old Times.
That's brilliant.
We're doing a show this Friday in Gulliver's, come out. We got tickets for sale here. Here's the venue. It's located here. We'd have like a sign written down, and
Yeah.
we play a couple of songs, let the crowd come in and inform them about the gig, and then
Yeah.
break it up, take a break for a few minutes, let a new crowd form, start again. And
Brilliant.
we went around all the UK basically following that kind of method, and we'd sell CDs on the street and
Cool.
all that kind of thing. It's tickets.
It's so important now to like self promotion, and then like social media is so important as well, as and like as you said, promotion as well. But like it sounds like you're doing everything right, guys. Absolutely everything right. Like it's not easy to sell 300 tickets by busking. So
No, no.
fair play to you.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely advise that for some people, because it's kind of mad as well. Because what we're doing really, we're like, I was chatting with Dom before we came on here. Like we're kind of swimming against the current, because what we're doing, it's rock and roll. It's not the in thing right now. Um,
I don't
and
know, man.
so for an independent band,
I think
but definitely,
I
there's
I know what you're
but
saying.
in mainstream culture, I think
Yes.
I don't, you're not going to see it. But obviously, that's not to say that there's not a thriving community that are into it. But I suppose I'm just kind of saying more so about kind of mainstream culture more broadly, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's not to dismiss the community that is there. But it's not easy for a kind of
No.
small independent band that's doing rock and roll like that. Um, But at the same time, there definitely is a huge hunger for it there out there. You just need it's just a question of finding the people, finding your people, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. No, it's
and
brilliant.
yeah,
It's
that's where I think going to the niche is, you know,
yeah,
rather than trying to convert people. Although I think we have converted a lot of people, it's also important to find that existing community of people that are, you know, crying out for some,
but
you
I
know,
highly on
role
that
like.
topic. Then I highly recommend trying to get a show in McHugh's in Drogheda or in the Spirit Store in Dundalk. You guys go down a treat there. Really
McHugh's and
good.
Toronto.
Yeah, McHugh's, it's a great venue. I've seen a lot of good bands in there, a lot of even some tribute acts, but there's a lot of great original stuff that come through there on the Spirit Stone Dundalk. Absolutely fantastic venues. Reach out to them. They'll definitely, you know,
What was the name of that place in Dundalk?
the Spirit Store.
Spirit Store. Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where I caught the scratch before Christmas.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it holds maybe I'm not sure what it holds, maybe 400 or something like that. But sometimes they'll put two or three bands together and make a night of it, or you can rent it out yourself and go take a chance kind of thing. But yeah, man, that's a great story. I love hearing how the band evolved, the changes, your hustling, your music, your style, the journey in Donegal, out on the road in Europe, maybe going back to Europe in the summer. You're doing all the right
Yeah.
things, man, and you know you just gotta ride the wave and keep doing what you're doing because it's great stuff and really enjoying it.
Yeah, man. Um, yeah, it's been mad. It's been a mad couple of years. I don't even know, like I think I've been in the band th three, I don't know, 3, 4. I have no idea. Basically since COVID, I suppose.
Yeah.
I've been in it, but yeah, the band's been going f much before that, I suppose. But yeah, it's been a mad one. It's been a
Are
mad
you
one,
up?
like.
Are you up for a bit of question time? A few random questions so we get to know you a wee bit.
I'll do my best. I'll do my best, Gavin.
Right, kind of quick fire stuff. So the first and last album you bought, if you remember.
Oh Jesus, the first and last album I bought. Oh. Oh, actually, the last album I bought technically was Soundgarden. What even was the name of that? I'm so bad. It was actually a gift for someone else I got at Christmas.
um, yeah, there's some great albums.
What is the name of it? Let me see. Hang on, bear with me. I'm
I can't even
taking
think.
a while to answer this question.
You're all right.
I'll tell you what it was. But then again, I'm not even, I know there's probably Soundgarden fans there, but I'm not even the biggest Soundgarden guy. Like I like them, but I wouldn't know
Okay.
all of it. It's
Super,
Super Unknown.
I was just about to say Super Unknown. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Super Unknown. Not, yeah,
Yeah. I'm
I
kind
think
of
it has like
similar
Black Hole.
myself. Yeah, I love Chris Cornell, but I'm not a huge Soundgarden fan. I kind of preferred him in Audio Slave and some of his original stuff I thought was brilliant. Do you remember the first one you ever bought?
The first album I ever bought.
Hmm.
Well, the first album that was bought for me, I would have been too young to be buying
Hmm.
it myself, but was American Idiot, I think, by Green Day.
Okay, nice, nice.
I think I was only probably, oh, I want to say like 7 or something, and I was like, "What's a good band?" And I think my friend's older sister listened to Green Day,
Yeah,
and
American Idiot.
yeah, I got it, and yeah, so I listened to that album, and then another distinct memory then was I got like this Tin Lizzy greatest hits album.
Yeah, yeah, the
Uh,
one was it?
got it in Extra Vision.
Yeah,
That's how long ago that was. There was still Extra Vision,
yeah.
and
The
I
good old
seen
days.
it. Yeah, and I think my friend's dad had been talking about Tin Lizzy, and I was like, and then I just yeah, hearing guitar like that because like listening to Green Day and stuff, and I love Green Day, but it's not very guitar centric. There's not like they're not
No,
shred like a kind of a punky kind of
yeah,
thing.
punk, yeah,
But
yeah,
but
yeah.
I'd never heard anyone like shred like that before, and I was like, how do they even do this on the guitar? It's fucking mad, like,
It's amazing.
and
People are still trying to replicate some of that sound.
yeah,
Do you
man.
remember the first or last concert that you attended?
Yeah, the last concert I attended was Bullet for My Valentine, actually,
Okay,
with Trivium
in
in
England.
Glasgow.
Oh, in
It was in
Glasgow.
Glasgow. was actually just at the end of the tours with some friends of mine. The three
And
of us went. We were in the pit as well. We were like right up in the.
wow,
We were actually looking as well. There's a video on their TikTok of them playing, and you
you
can see our heads in the background, like just watching.
I seen a video of a guy I know that was in London. I think at it. It looked like a fucking amazing show. Amazing.
Yeah. And
Um,
I'd say the first show I was at as well was some formation of Thin Lizzy playing at the Volvo Ocean Race in Galway in like I think like 2012.
okay.
I don't know how many of the original members were there. I think it was I think Brian Downey might have been
Journey.
on
Yeah, maybe Eric Bell or someone.
and possibly I don't know, was Scott Gorham there maybe? I'm not even sure. I'll have to double check. I was too young and I actually got kicked out as well. So so I didn't get to see the whole show, but yeah, no, that was a big thing as
That's a
well.
good memory. Colm, the
Um,
best pint of Guinness in Galway.
Best pint of Guinness in Galway. Well, now for anyone that's wondering, like to disappoint, but I actually don't drink anymore.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
But the last time I was drinking, which wasn't too long ago, it was a couple of years ago. I think Noctons do it. It's a pretty safe bet. I don't
Okay.
know if it's the best, but there's also sometimes a safe enough bet. You don't want to disappoint people.
Yeah.
I guarantee you'll go into the Noctons and you'll get a really, really good pint of Guinness, and it's in a nice location in town.
Yeah. I
Um,
like I like Tig Collie myself. I'm probably
oh
pronouncing
yeah,
it
yeah,
wrong.
and
Yeah.
they're actually very sound as well in there.
Yeah.
It's very sound to buskers in there as well.
Yeah. Can you name excuse me, a book, an album, and a movie that everyone should check out?
Book, an album, and a movie that everyone should check out. For the music heads and anyone that knows me, you're probably sick of me discussing it, but The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin.
Rick Rubin.
Must read. At least for me, anyways, that's kind of my Bible, especially if you're in music or anything creative, art, anything like that. And just about the creative process and just I've really, really enjoyed that book and it's something I come back to a lot.
Cool.
Um, so many nuggets of wisdom. Now I know it's kind of a divisive thing. Some people swear by him, some people
Oh, he's a
not so
genius. He's a genius.
but yeah, yeah, I love that book. And, it's a kind of book you get the pen out and you fucking
Yeah.
start
Highlight
jotting.
away.
Yeah. So that's that. And then the other thing, Gavin, you were saying a book and
An album, like a CD, and a movie.
definitely one of my favorite albums, just an album that I can just listen to from start to finish would be American Beauty, Grateful Dead.
Oh,
I I love that album. I got it years ago. I was actually going to see Roger Waters' The Wall in Dublin with a friend of mine. I was in Leaving Cert at the time, and we went up. And then I think was it either the day before or the day after we went to is it Tower Records in Dublin?
yes.
Um, and I bought that album. It was on a CD,
Wow.
and because an uncle of mine had told me about the Grateful Dead, and I'd heard a couple of tunes like these guys are good.
Yes.
And that album, I love it.
Cool.
It's such a good
Cool.
album.
And movie everyone should check out.
Movie everyone should check out. Oh, I'm not even that well versed on movies. I've been getting a lot of stuff coming up on my YouTube feed about like clips from Braveheart.
Have you never seen Braveheart?
Right. No, I've seen Braveheart. Good. I actually have it.
You have Mel Gibson in there, don't you?
I have it here. I should have it here. Oh, I actually do. Yeah, yeah. I have it here on my wall. There you go.
What
Brave.
I actually was listening to his podcast today with Joe Rogan. He's a strange enough man, but what a film that is! What a movie!
What a movie. What else do I have here? I have the Rambo trilogy.
Oh, brilliant!
I have the original trilogy. I have the first six Star Wars there.
Okay.
Uh, what else? Actually, do you know what my favorite movie though is that I come back to all the time is No Country for Old Men.
Ah, yes, good film.
I I fucking love that movie. And the weird thing about it is there's no soundtrack, as
Yes,
far
I
as I
know.
know. No,
Right.
if you go back and watch that movie, there's no music in it at all.
Wow.
It's weird.
Wow.
Um, Now I've had a friend get into an argument with me because apparently they do some slight ambient, tone or some straight, but as far as I know, there's no soundtrack on it. At
And
least not in the conventional sense with like discernible music that you can hear.
right, right.
Um,
We'll finish up with this one column then. So, a hypothetical question, of course. So, if you could name a 4 or 5 piece band, dead or alive, pick me a lead guitarist, rhythm, bass, drums, singer to record your dream album, who would they be?
oh, jeez. Okay. So I need a four-piece band. What, two guitars, drums, like a
Well, four or
singer or
five. Yeah, a singer, say a singer, bass, guitar, and drums. Say four piece.
right? Well, singer would be Donny Hathaway as a singer. So that's my singer got.
Yeah.
Drums, let's say I get maybe it's so hard. There's so many great drummers.
Yeah.
I'd say Tony Williams on drums.
Okay.
And okay, on guitar. Jesus, on guitar. That's hard now. Um, what kind of band are we going for here?
It's your
I'm
band,
probably
man. It's your band. It's your
jeez
album.
on guitar. I'm gonna take it's almost a cop out in a way because he can kind of just do everything. But I get Guthrie Govan just because whatever way the band would go.
He's come up already. He came up with a different guest. I believe Chris Carney, a previous guest, that went with Guthrie. Yeah, yeah. Good shout. Very
Okay.
talented.
Then who knows? Like on bass, like are they writing their own music as well? Like what's
Don't have to go too deep on it, but like let's just say they're all in a room and they're jamming and the
right? We'll get Paul McCartnney on bass, right? Because he can
Oh,
write stuff as well, and he can play piano as well. You know.
that's a nice band, man. That is a nice
Right.
band.
Paul McCartney. To be honest, even with that, that's a four-piece there. That's kind of a reckless band to have. That's Tony Williams,
Yeah.
Paul McCartney on bass, who can probably sing and write. He can write the tunes then. So then
Mm.
you'll have him write. You'll have Guthrie Govan that can play virtually anything. And you know what? I'd get Malcolm Young from AC/DC on rhythm guitar.
Rhythm. Yeah. Malcolm's come up a lot on rhythm. Yeah. Yeah.
Because who else would you get? That'd be a very interesting combination to see what
Imagine
would
them.
happen.
Imagine them five boys locked in a room together for a week.
What would they come out with, man? It'd be madness. They'd either all kill each other
I was going to say they'd probably
or
kill each other, or
or they'd come out with the best album of all time. Like we
to be sparks and smokes, whether that be inspirational stuff or a scrap. We leave that to the band. But that's a hell of a shout, man. That's a really interesting one.
we'll put it into ChatGPT and see what they come out with. What would happen if you did this? You know?
Yeah,
Get
yeah. Fucking
yeah.
rockets go off. Man, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. And we wish you the best with the band. And we look forward to maybe catching you up in Drogheda or Dundalk. Let's see what happens. Or if not, we'll check out your social media pages and maybe we might see you in Europe over the summer. You never
Oh,
know.
man, Gavin, thanks very much, man. It's been a pleasure.
No
And
problem, man. And
I'm sure
this podcast has been brought to you by All Kings and Defy Sports. We want to thank them for sponsoring the podcast. Sorry, Colm, did I cut you off there?
not at all, man. Not at all. No, that's it. I'm just very grateful to be on, and thanks for having us, Gavin.
No
Really
problem,
appreciate
man.
it.
Talk to you soon.
You too, man. All the best.